your fucking hands up.
Okay, so in this video, my goal is to guide you through yung process na ginagamit ko para mag-map out ng isang chart. Okay, but before we do that, it's important that we identify ano yung purpose ng pagma-map out at kung ano yung pagma-map out. Okay, map out or mapping na lang no para mas madali. So ang hinahanap ko dito, okay, ang important, when we map charts, what it does is it provides landmarks. 'Di ba? Parang kapag sa kalsada lang yan eh. It provides landmarks to help navigating become easier. Okay? To help navigating the charts become easier. Okay? Next, it gives clear areas on where we want to do business. Okay? Then, it provides invalidation or validation of thesis. Okay? So magsimula tayo dito sa tatlong to and then we'll work our way forward. Okay? I would like to apologize in advance kung medyo may background noise. May ginagawa kasi rito sa amin eh, no? So medyo may konting ingay lang ng konti. Pagpasensyahan nyo na. Now, when I map out a chart, number one, ang hinahanap ko is it provides landmarks to help me navigate para mas dumali ang pagbasa ko sa chart. Kung napapansin nyo, sa mga videos ko, sa mga pinopost ko sa Investa or pinopost ko sa Facebook or sa Twitter, normally hindi ako naglalagay ng indicator sa chart ko. In fact, sa chart na to, tinanggal ko muna yung volume pang samantala para lang malinis yung pagtrabaho natin. Okay? Walang distractions. Okay? I've also made it inverse colored, black yung background. Again, para lang hindi masyado masakit sa mata since I know this video might take a bit longer than my normal 10 to 15 minute videos. Okay. So landmark, ano hinahanap ko? First, I want to identify areas of support and resistance that I feel are important based on a specific time frame. Okay? So, kapag nagsisimula ako mag-map out ng charts, since most of my execution is done on the daily time frame, I like starting out sa monthly. Okay? Why sa monthly? I just want a big picture lang kung ano yung itsura ng chart overall. Okay? Kung uptrend ba siya, downtrend ba siya, sa bigger picture. It just makes it easier for me personally once I go down to lower time frames para hindi ko nalilimutan yung overall bias or hinahanap ko. Meaning, am I looking for a quick trade? Am I expecting na kailangan mag-up to 20, 30, 50, 70, 100%? Or am I just looking for a quick 5%, 10%? Diba? The overall trend tells you that. Now sa atin, sa PSE, wala tayong shorting. So, meaning puro pataas lang ang hinahanap natin. Kung may pababa, tapos downtrend yung chart, obviously, yun din yung hahanapin ko na trades, mga downtrend. Yun yung mga important sa akin na areas. But since dito sa atin is pataas lang ang hinahanap natin, ganon din yung gagawin natin, yung na important na areas for us. Okay, yun din yung mga areas kako na important na hinahanap natin. Okay? So, the first thing I do is I map out or I mark out the most obvious na highs and lows or resistance levels sa chart. The way I do that is I just pick the very highest. Okay, kung gumagamit kayo ng Investa, it's Alt-H to put down the line, yung horizontal line. And then I always use the magnet function para it just goes to wherever it needs to go. In this case, dito tayo sa 84.4 na high. Okay? Next, yung pinaka-obvious na low is this one. Okay? Itong low na to, which happened nung March 2020. Okay? So yan dalawa muna. Yung dalawa yung pinakamadali na nag-gravitate yung mata nating lahat. And magkakasundo tayong lahat na sila yung high, ito yung range high, ito yung range low. Swing high, swing low. Okay? Whatever you wanna call it. Okay? That forms the basis nung pagtratrabahuhan ko na area. Meaning, anything below this, hindi pa ganun ka-important sa akin right now. Especially since medyo malayo-layo naman yung 41 sa 26. Diba? So anything below this, hindi ko muna papansinin. Anything above this, hindi ko rin muna papansinin. Kasi malayo-layo rin yung 41 sa 84. Okay? Next, I will fill in the blanks. Ano yung mga obvious na areas ng support and resistance sa chart na to? Okay? For me, number one is this. Nag-act siya as support here, then resistance dito. Now, when I'm choosing support and resistance areas, I give greater significance sa mas bago na price action. So kahit na itong mga to umabot sa low na to, 'di ba? Itong mga support na to nandito or pwede mo sabihin nandito or whatever. And ito technically nauntog naman diyan. But I personally give greater significance sa mas bago na price action. So yan yung mas papansinin ko. Okay? Now I look lower. Meron bang mga key areas na kailangan kong pansinin? Okay? Sa monthly chart, the next place that my eyes gravitate to is this one. This little high right here. Okay? Bakit dito? Kasi nakita ko rin itong area na to, nag-resist dito, support, 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 technically supported even though lumagpas, support, 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 resist, support, resist, and so on. Okay? Ito yung four areas na nag-gravitate yung mata ko sa chart. Now, bakit di ko ito linagyan dito sa baba na to? Bakit hindi ako naglagay dito sa mga areas na to? Kasi para sa akin, pag sa monthly na chart, if price broke above 53, would I be bullish? Yes. If price broke above 57, it wouldn't make me any more bullish. Diba? It wouldn't make me any more eager to get in. Bullish na siya to begin with kapag nabasag niya tong 53 eh. Diba? Yung next na masasabi ko talaga na significant na area dito sa monthly chart is kapag nabasag na tong 69.5. And then after that is yung 84.4. Ito, kapag nabasag to pababa, di ba? Kunya, naglagay tayo na level dito. It broke below it. Nandito siya. Am I gonna be any more bearish? No. Because I'm already bearish to begin with sa monthly chart. Pag tinignan mo yung itsura ng chart na to sa monthly, kahit naman sino siguro magsasabi, very bearish siya. Pababa talaga tayo. Diba? Pero to become even more bearish, okay? Ito yung kailangan mabasag na area, yung 26.7. Anything within that is still within this entire range. It's not gonna make me any more bearish. It's not gonna make me any more bullish. It doesn't really affect my plans all that much, especially dahil sa PSE naman, wala tayong shorting. Okay? So, I have provided landmarks sa monthly chart, okay, to help me navigate the chart faster. Mas madali. Okay, anything that happens in between these levels, if I'm only looking at the monthly chart, is irrelevant to me. Okay? So, bababa ko lang to dito, no, para pag lumipat tayo sa lower time frame, mas makita natin siya. Next, it gives clear areas on where we want to do business. Meaning, for me, I would be looking to enter into a position or exit a position, assuming I was in one, on invalidations or validations above or below these levels. What do I mean? Let's say na may position ako dito at 41. Okay, for some reason, pumasok ako dito sa 41. If price broke below this 26.7 area, assuming sa monthly chart lang tayo tumitingin, dun pa lang ako magkakat. Dun ako mali eh. As I said, dito pag nabasag to, meron pang ito all the way down here eh. So I'm not, on this time frame, I'm not really saying na, mali na yung idea ko dahil nabasag to. 'Di ba? Ang confirmation na idea ko, let's say, again, meron ako hawak dito, is a break above itong 52.95 or 53 na area. Now, because I have these levels there, and because they're so prominent, 'di ba? Dahil nasa utak ko na siya, pagka walang nangyayari at or near those levels, then I don't really have to care about what's going on. Assuming again, nasa monthly lang ako tumitingin. Okay? Kaya tayo nagsimula sa monthly kasi alam ko mas malaki, mas defined, at mas konti yung levels na malalagay natin. Kaya doon tayo nagsimula. It makes it easier for me to explain what mapping is for, what mapping does. And as I said sa huli, it provides invalidation and validation of thesis. So yun nga, it connects to the second one na I know where my bullish thesis is validated, in this case, if we break above 53, or my bearish thesis or my bullish thesis is invalidated if we broke below 26.7. Okay? Now, obviously, hindi ako papasok dito para mag-cut dito. Ang laki nun eh. 'Di ba? Even with sound risk management, medyo may kalayuan yan eh. Okay? So what I do is I drill down from here to the weekly chart. Okay? Oops. Hindi sumama sa akin yung mga levels natin, no? Okay, hindi natin na-check yung weeks. So make sure lang nakita to sa lahat ng time frames para hindi kayo tulad ko at napapahiya sa sa video. Okay, we bring this down sa weekly. Okay, I'll move this here again so it's easy to see. Okay, that didn't work. I'll move this here so it's easy to see. Then from here, kung napapansin nyo, when I draw my levels, when I map things out, I don't like being zoomed in ng ganito sa chart. I really feel like you don't see anything kapag nasa ganito ka. I want it zoomed out. Okay? Ayoko naman ng ganito, mostly kasi mahirap minsan para sa akin dahil lumalabo na yung mata ko na iligay yung mouse sa tamang lugar, di ba? But, yan, mga ganito or ganito, okay sa akin. Okay? Kapag dito sa weekly, more or less, I can look back, so 2021 hanggang 2014, mga 7 years, 5 to 7 years is good enough. Okay? Sa weekly. So, ganito. Now, sa weekly, ito, level na siya for me. Sa monthly, it wasn't. Pero sa weekly, obvious naman na nag-consolidate tayo doon. Okay? Bago tayo tumaas. Okay? Napapansin nyo, I uncheck yung months dito sa visibility. That way, when I go to the monthly chart, hindi ko siya kita. Okay? Pero sa weekly chart, kita ko siya. Okay. So sa weekly, for me, level na to. Kasi medyo malaki yung 34 to 26.7. Again, sa monthly, hindi. Dahil sa monthly, we're looking at such a broad range. Sa weekly, it now starts to matter. Okay? It now starts to matter. Now, am I looking for significant pullback sa weekly? Am I bullish na? No. Obviously, kapag tinignan mo to sa weekly, very bearish pa rin tingnan. Meaning, we haven't formed any new higher high to work with this potential higher low. What do I mean? So from here, pababa lang tayo, di ba? More or less. Okay? Don't need to be super precise with that. But more or less, ganito. Pababa lang tayo. Okay? Dito nag-change yung trend. Dito, basically, nagpataas tayo. Di ba? Pero ano yung confirmation natin na kailangan mag-form para masabi natin na bullish tayo sa isang chart within a specific time frame? Hindi ba kailangan natin mag-form tayo ng higher high? Para mag-form ng higher high sa current chart na to, we need to go past here, above 53, same as sa monthly. So again, these levels don't matter too much to me sa weekly. However, I will note this area because this seems to work as a significant area of support, and I expect it to work as a significant area of resistance moving forward. Why? Resist, resist, support, 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 resist, support, 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 all the way here. So pag umabot dito yung price, I probably can expect some type of reaction. I'm not saying that it will react. There's just a good probability that it might react. Okay, there. Then I also see this section here. Okay, now, dito na pumapasok yung madalas kong sinasabi sa newsletter or sa videos or sa Discord na when you look at support and resistance levels, you need to view them as ranges. Ito, in my mind, this is an entire area of potential support. Just let me mark it out for you para clear. Okay? Pag nagsisimula pa lang kayo mag-draw ng support and resistance, I actually highly recommend doing it in zones rather than in lines. Okay? Kasi mas madaling masasanay yung mga mata nyo looking for areas rather than very specific points. Okay? Now, this area, again, is significant. Support, support. Acted as resistance here. Resistance, 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 and so on. Okay? But again, you can treat this whole area all the way hanggang dito actually na pwedeng mag-act as resistance if price pushes up. Okay? Pag sanay na kayo, then it's easier to just use lines kasi may shortcut na command Alt-H. Yung pag-drawing ng box, wala. Okay? Sa trading view, mas madali but hindi pa siya available dito sa Investa. Maybe soon, no? Okay? So, ito lang yung mga levels sa papansinin ko sa weekly. Nalagay ko lahat yan. Okay? Again, this helps me mapping out my chart. Again, landmarks. If I move above 42, then I can start being more bullish, diba? Because I know that this is a significant area of potential resistance. If I move below this 34 na level here, then I can expect na ma-challenge natin malamang tong 26.7 kasi hindi natuloy yung pagbuo ng potential na higher high over here. Diba? So, just by using a few lines, pwede nating pwede tayong mag-form ng idea kung ano yung mga pwedeng mangyari sa chart na gusto natin or ayaw natin makita at certain levels. Okay? Now at this point, I would start cleaning out some of the levels that I'm not really realistically gonna hit anyway anytime soon, which means this level can go. Okay? Hanggat kaya, I want my charts to be less cluttered. So, for me, it's only important na nandun lang ako sa areas na realistic maabot within a reasonable amount of time. Para bumalik tayo na 84, it's likely not gonna happen this 2021. Diba? Aminin man natin o hindi, gustuhin man natin o hindi, the fact of the matter is it's unrealistic. Is it possible? Of course it's possible, but it's not high probability. So I don't need to leave it there. Okay? In fact, kung ako lang, I would also remove itong dalawa. But for the sake of discussion, I'll leave them there para pagdating natin ng daily, okay, mas malinis at mas mapapakita ko pa sa inyo ng mabuti yung mga nangyayari. Alright, now we move down sa daily chart. Okay, sa daily chart, same as before, I really want a zoomed out view hanggat kaya. Usually, I start out nga, lalo na sa daily, dahil alam ko mas marami ng data points. What I mean by data points is, mas clear na yung mga highs, mas clear na yung mga lows, whereas sa mga weekly or sa monthly, usually they're clumped together in 1 or 2 or 3 candles. Diba? So, since sa daily, alam ko mas meron ng new ones, I try to zoom out first just so I have an idea of what I'm looking at. Okay? And then I start identifying areas that are important to me. So, one of the areas will be this. Again, this is an entire zone from here hanggang here. I'm just simplifying it for myself. Okay? Para mas madali. Kasi nga, may shortcut command. Next would be this, and again, it would be this entire area, and then would be this. Okay? Anything above that sa daily, kahit na may level ako dito, is irrelevant to me. Again, I don't trade ng sobrang tagal na time frame. Okay? And I would rather add levels as I go along, as price goes higher, rather than leave them all there, tapos pampagulo lang. Nakakalito lang. Okay? Now, after I set all of these levels here, so same thing, no? Same lang yung use nila for all time frames. They're just there to help me note areas of significance para if price does go there, if price does break above a certain level, if price does break below a certain level, I know what to expect kasi it will be part of my plan. Okay? It will be part of my map. Now, why do I prefer mapping over indicators, mga MAs or mga things like Ichimoku or things like B-bands or parabolic SAR or whatever else. Okay? Now, the reason for that is usually it takes time for the type of trades I look for to materialize. And usually during the course of that time, if I was using Ichimoku or if I was using MAs, highly likely these lines would have already moved. Now, having dynamic support and resistance, which is essentially what MAs are or other indicators are, diba? Kasi dynamic in the sense na they move as the chart moves. Diba? They're lagging indicators because they're reliant on what price is currently doing to be able to print what is essentially late data. Meaning, para mag-print ang MA50, kailangan may nangyaring worth 50 periods. And then, para magamit mo yung 50 periods na yon, you should be able to throw that 50 periods into the future. So, mga 100 periods minimum for it to have some type of use. Now, for most charts, that's not an issue. But for some charts, it is. The other thing is, having dynamic support and resistance means that my plans need to continually change, controlled by something na essentially lagging naman. Okay? Lagging in the sense na it's a late signal. And kahit sino pa ang gumagamit ng mga MAs, CMAs, or whatever, you can look it up on the internet. Anyone will admit that they are lagging indicators. It's their nature. Kumbaga, they need the math, they need the data in order to be able to print. They don't go ahead of the data. Without data, there can be no indicator. Okay? Granted, without data, hindi ka rin naman makakalagay ng support and resistance. But you can use this with any amount of data. Kahit isang pirasong candle lang, pwede mo naman lagyan niya ng support and resistance. I'm not saying it's gonna be effective, but you can. Okay? It gives you something to work with. And as I said, since it's static, meaning it's fixed, my plans can stay intact most of the time. Okay? Does it mean that you might eventually miss out on some trades? Yes. Does it mean na you might be late joining into some trades? Yes. But for me, they're a more reliable way of dictating my plans moving forward on a week by week basis as compared to moving averages, which I have to check and recheck and adjust to every single day. Okay? Again, inuulit ko bago may magalit, hindi po mali ang mga moving averages. You can use whatever you like. This is simply what I prefer. Okay? Now, sa daily, so napapansin nyo, nag-set ako na ito sa daily, kailangan iba ng konti yung itsura. So you can change this. You can use colors. You can use different patterns, whatever you like. But I just like using na, kunyari, ito para sa daily lang, ito para sa weekly lang. So when I go to the weekly chart, wala yung mga daily na lines. When I go to the monthly chart, wala yung mga weekly na lines, everything is clean. Okay? Okay? So, na-explain ko na kung para saan yung pagmamap. Na-explain ko na rin paano ako mag-map. Na-explain ko na rin bakit ito yung pamamaraan na pinili ko para mag-map. Okay? Now, what I'm gonna explain is how do you trade using itong mapping na to. Okay? Now, dito, walang fixed na method, no? Marami ako pwedeng sabihin that you may or may not agree with depending on the type of trader that you are. Okay? Now, before I move on to that, just let me quickly add how and when I adjust my levels. Some monthly charts, I only adjust my monthly levels at the end of each month. So weekly charts, I only adjust my levels at the end of each week if necessary. And then sa daily chart, I only adjust my levels at the end of each day if necessary. Okay? Now, how to look for trades. The way that you can look for trades, explain ko. I will give you 5 different ways, okay, to look for trades using yung ganitong style. The first style is yung pinakasimple. Mga breakout. So sa mga breakout traders, okay, just let me get the brush tool. Diba? Simple lang. If you break above a key level, you enter the trade. You can enter the trade as soon as it breaks, at end of day, whatever you prefer. Okay, that's not the topic for today, so I'm not going to be discussing that. Then you take some profit at the next level. If it pushes higher, take some profit at the next level. Or if you want, you can even skip out taking profits on the first target. Depende lahat yan sa chart eh. Okay? Just try to see if it will hit the next level of the next target. Then we target it there. Okay? Now, which target should you aim for? Diba? If we break above a weekly level, okay? Sorry, mag-start tayo sa monthly. If we break above a monthly level, then I will be targeting the next monthly level. Kasi malakas yung momentum eh. Sa monthly nga, nag-iba yung chart. Paano pa kaya yun, di ba? Parang sa higher time frames, since siya yung nagko-control ng lower time frames mo, then you should be using the same point of reference as the time frame that it broke out of. Meaning, etong monthly level na to, if we break above 53, then I would personally be targeting 69.5. Okay? Ngayon, kung kunwari naman we broke above a weekly level, then I would be targeting the next monthly or weekly level depending on what's closer. Okay? So, kunyari, nabasag natin to. I would be targeting 53. Okay? And I would look to take a chunk of my profit off here. Diba? Kasi kahit pa sabihin natin na may nabasag siyang weekly na level, meron paling yung humarang sa kanya na level, yung nag-act as resistance, is still a higher time frame level. So hanggang dun lang hinahanap ko. But again, that's just me. Okay? What I do is I take some profits here, then I check to see if it's a runner. I trail my stop and then let it run. If it's a runner, then I will take profit at the next level. Then may konti bang natira kung sakali man, then I check to see if we can run even higher. Okay? Ngayon, pag nabasag niya daily level, ganun din. A break above a daily level, ang tinatarget ko would be the next weekly or monthly or daily level. So lahat na. Okay? Again, you target the level that's equivalent or higher than the level of your current time frame for breakout trades. Okay? Some of you may be saying right now, bakit hindi mo na lang i-hold? Baka tumuloy-tuloy lang yung breakout, bumalik yan ng 84. Okay? If that's what you want to do, then that's okay. Hindi ko sinasabing mali yun. Just trail your stop and maximize your profit. For me, the way that I personally trade, I've just simply found na mas profitable for me in the long run, diba, over a multitude of trades if I take profit along the way. But that's just me. Okay, what I do may not necessarily work for you, and what you do may not necessarily work for me, and that's okay. Because if we all traded the same way, I promise you, the market's just gonna break it na. Walang gagalaw. Isipin mo kung lahat ng tao gusto hodl lang, walang nag-i-scalp, walang nag-day trade, walang nag-swing trade, edi walang bumibili. Walang gagalaw. Ganon din, kung walang nag-hold lang, kung walang nag-aim for larger targets, edi ang liit lang ng range ng chart kasi everyone is just trying to gain 5% out na, 10% out na, 3% out na. Edi wag na, wala na lang tayong galawan. 'Di ba? So, walang sisihan ng trading method, lahat 'yan may value. Okay? So that's method number 1. What's method number 2? Method number 2 is you wait for a pullback. So if we break out of this level, you can wait for a pullback here before coming in, then again targeting the next level. Okay? When you're targeting the next level, you still want to keep note of yung mga levels sa drawing mo kahit na lower time frame sila. Kasi pwede pa rin naman mauntog doon yung price eh. May dahilan kung bakit ka nag-drawing doon. So kung talagang nauntog, bumaksak, pumangit, hindi labas ka na ng mas maaga. Huwag mo nang ipilit. Di ba? Okay. So that's the second way. Breakout, then look for pullbacks. Ano ba yan? Ang hirap naman magbura ng mga ganito. Alright. Then look for pullbacks. The next method is buying prior to breakout. Nakikita mo na malapit na tayo mag-breakout dito. Okay? I wouldn't suggest na bibili ka right here sa 42. Siguro bigyan mo ka sarili mo ng konting allowance man lang para yung cut mo di naman, kumbaga, less painful kung kinakailangan mag-cut. Diba? So, kunyari, around 40, bili ka na, feeling mo mababasag yan. Tapos, dadagdagan mo na lang kung nabasag na. Okay? That's method number 3. Habang nagko-consolidate dito, right before a level, you could buy a little bit. Mas risky ng konti kasi pwedeng hindi tumuloy, pero kung tumuloy, mas profitable din para sa'yo. Okay? Whereas kanina, yung breakout, you got confirmation. Breakout and pullback, you got the confirmation. Ito, wala ang confirmation, pinapangunahan mo yung trade. But it's still a viable trade strategy. Some people do it. In fact, a lot of people do it. Okay? The next thing that you can do is yung normal na ginagawa ng karamihan ng tao, which is wait for your indicator-based strategy before triggering a trade while using these levels as potential targets. Ganun din. Kapag yung indicator-based strategy nyo triggered on the daily time frame, then I would look to take profits sa daily or weekly or monthly levels, di ba? Daily or higher. If my indicator-based strategy triggered on a weekly time frame, then I would look to target weekly and monthly levels. Okay? So obviously, di ko na iisa-isahin yan, no? Medyo marami. Ichimoku, AOTS, maraming mga pwedeng strategy na gamitin para sa ganon. Okay? And then the final one is, okay, waiting for a breakout, waiting for a pullback, waiting for price action dito sa pullback to validate your thesis na sinasabi nga bullish, and then you get in. Okay? Usually, itong method na to, yung pinakamas maliit yung potential profit. Pero, siya rin yung pinakamaraming confirmation. Bakit? You waited for a breakout. Nag-breakout na. Nag-pullback. Hindi ka kagad bumili. Kasi para sa'yo, hindi pa ako sigurado dito Parang alanganin ako. Tapos nung nag-pullback, nag-conso, then nag-breakout ulit. Yun siguro, pwede na nating sabihin na meron talaga tayong confirmation na tutuloy. Then you get in. Usually, these are the highest probability trades. But, usually, sila rin yung mas konti yung pwedeng potential profit. Kasi, usually, nangyari sa ganyan, mas malapit ka na sa next target mo. Diba? Again, you can always let it run, ignore the targets kung talagang ayaw nyo. But for me, I like taking profits along the way. It's not that it's more comfortable. It's just, it feels more right to me to do it that way. So, I know marami pang ibang methods na pwedeng gamitin, but these are the 5 na most commonly used ng mga traders na nakakausap ko, naturuan ko, and so on. I would like to note lang before I continue na even the traders I teach, they don't necessarily trade like the way I do. Not a lot of people do. That's why I'm trying to explain it in methods na mas applicable sa lahat ng tao. Breakouts, pullbacks, di ba? Yun yung mas madaling mapaliwanag at mas naiintindihan. Ang important naman sa lesson na to is yung importance ng pag-map out nyo ng charts nyo. Okay? Kapag wala yan, kasi kunyari, nag-MA20, 50, 100 kayo, saan yung targets? Yes, you could just trail your stop. Diba? Pwede nyo gamitin EMA9, EMA20, whatever, to trail your stops. You could. Diba? But, paano nyo mabibilang ano yung risk nyo sa isang trade? Which is an entirely different video. But that's important. In order for you to calculate your risk-reward, you need to be able to assess saan yung reward. And if you don't have a map, if you don't have a way to identify where your target is, where your realistic target is, then you can't identify proper risk-reward. Kunyari, sabihin natin, pumasok kayo dito sa chart na to at 40, sabihin natin. Sabihin mo sa akin, target ko 200 eh. Naturalmente, kung target mo 200, kahit yung stop mo nasa 26.7, sulit yung risk-reward niya. Pero, realistic ba yun? And the way to make it realistic is to map it out so you can visualize where your trade could go. Okay? Now, let's try another chart, no? Okay, so itong MM, mapapansin nyo, mas konti yung data niya. Okay? Mas konti yung data niya. But even though mas konti yung data niya, we can still start some monthly chart. Now, dito, same as always. Oopsie. Hindi pala naka-on yung magnet, sorry. We start off. So, gagawin ko lang to, no? We'll be a bit faster para hindi naman nasasayang yung mga oras nyo. Obvious high, obvious low. Diba? Obvious highs, obvious lows. Mapped out. Sa monthly, yan yung mga important. Wala nang iba. Mag-breakout na dito, bullish ka na ba? Hindi. Breakout na dito, bullish ka na ba? Hindi rin. Diba? Sa monthly, hindi lahat. So, simple lang. Then we go sa weekly. Sa weekly, we can mark this out. Saan yun? Here you go. Okay, map that one out. You can actually map out tong gap here, tong unfilled gap. Let's lengthen it. Okay, para lang you know it's there. This one, lalagyan mo ba? Hindi. Kasi if you break out here, are you super bullish? No. Not in the weekly chart. Diba? So, ganyan lang. Dito, ma-map out ko ba? No. Again, para maging bullish ako sa weekly, kailangan mag-break natin to. At least tong 5.74 kapag sa weekly. So, any other level is insignificant. Okay? Then, sa daily, dun malamang mas nadami ng konti yung levels natin. Now, this will matter. Kasi nag-act siya as support. This will now matter. Swing high, bumagsak. Diba? This will now matter. Price broke down, tried to push up, couldn't, broke down. That's where we're finding resistance right now. Okay? This will matter. Price broke down, swung up, failed to push higher, pushed down a little bit, then we broke up. So that's a significant level. And that's it. Now I have a map that I can work with. Okay? Now I know what I want to see in price. Can you put micro levels along the way? Can you put a level here? Sure. Kunyari, feeling nyo, para sa inyo, important tong level na to, then go ahead. Walang end all and be all yung ganito. As I said, their area. So sa ako, pag tinignan ko to, automatic yan. Itong buo na to, part yan ng resistance na to. Diba? Ito hanggang dito, part yan ng support na yan. And so on and so forth. Okay? But that's how I would look at it. Now that I have a map to my chart, even if I'm using MAs, even if I'm using Ichimoku, let's throw it in. Even if I'm using Ichimoku, these levels help me out, help me flesh out what I want to see. Okay? What I want to see when price hits or price reaches a certain area. Kunwari, ito, nagkumo-breakout dito. Am I excited to trade it? No. Diba? I still want to see it break out here because I know there's a resistance level right there. Diba? Kunyari, hindi Ichimoku ang gamit nyo. Let's say you use moving averages. Let's throw on a few moving averages here. So let's say na gumagamit ka ng yung pang AOTS, no? So lagay lang natin 50 100. So kunwari gumagamit ka ng ganito and you want to see it form ng ganitong style, di ba? Kahit na mag-flip yan, pero hindi pa ako nag-breakout, wala rin ako pakialam. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Kailangan may mag-iba rito para umayos tong MA sa to, no? But look, if price broke out here, tas sabihin natin you wanted to target MA 100, pwede ba? Of course. I'm not going to stop you. But you can see na MA 100 and MA and this 5.74 is very close to one another anyway. Diba? And since I said that all of this should be treated as a zone, essentially this is an entire zone here. So if this is an entire zone, once it pushes up, essentially nandun ka na rin. 4 cents lang. Diba? Na ito yung sinasabi ko na issue ng MA. So para magkaroon tayo ng moving average here, kailangan syempre mabuo na yung data. And again, as I said, for most charts, that shouldn't be an issue. Pero kunyari, parang ganito, konti pa lang, mas konti rin yung makikita nyo. Lalo na kapag tinaasan nyo na. Kunyari, naglagay pa kayo ng hinahanap nyo, mga golden cross or death cross. Diba? Yung mga MA50, cross to MA200. So syempre, MA200, baka kalahati lang, mga banda rito na mag-i-start yun. Diba? So hindi nyo ganong magagamit. But again, if you want to use them as parang confluence, or even if you want to do it vice versa, if you want to use your map as confluence for the MAs, diba? Which, tinan nyo, ito malapit lang dito, ito malapit lang dyan. It's it works out, kumbaga. So, now that you have your map, kunyari nag-breakout tayo dito, you want to target the next level, you can target MA100, you can target itong 5.74, diba? If mabitin ng konti yung price, you want to get out, go right ahead. Walang masama po ron. Okay? If ma-breakout natin lahat to, malamang nga ayos to, magiging ganito ulit, yung 20 above 50 above 100. Then, if you want to trade, go to push it higher, go ahead. Meron kang mga targets, alam mo saan ka lalabas. Kung gusto mo man mag-take ng profit, kung ayaw mo mag-take ng profit, wala ring pipigil sa'yo. But the map still works for you. Kasi kung kunwari, nag-trade above, bumaksak below, nasira, umabot tayo sa next level, then maybe you need to look at it. Maybe you need to exit the trade. Baka may mali na. Okay? So, I hope may natutunan kayo when it comes to mapping. I tried to be a little concise, but I know how excitable I can be when talking about mapping out charts using levels and so on and so forth. So I hope may natutunan kayo and I hope may magagamit kayo moving forward. If you have any questions, as always, please put them in the comment section below. And if you did find this video helpful or useful, please give it a like, consider subscribing to my channel, and happy trading.